Help me spread the word and join me on my mission of motivating other moms by sharing the video. Thank you for watching.
Somebody can have it and somebody can't. That was a complete myth from the dark ages, I guess, because people didn't get diagnosed. People used to keep these people locked up, right, at their homes. So
from the Garden State, New Jersey, from one mom to another, it's time for Mom's Talk. Here's Avani.
Welcome, Supermoms, to Mom's Talk. I am Avani, your show host. And today's Supermom guest is joining us from New Jersey. She is a psychiatrist. Welcoming Dr. Bhattacharya.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thanks,
to the
Avani.
show, Reshmi.
Thanks, Avani. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Finally, we get to see each other.
I know, right?
Reshmi, when I hear about a psychiatrist, there is one thing, the kind of thought that comes in your mind, that you have to have a very special kind of a skill set. Right. How did you come to this realization that you wanted to be a psychiatrist?
Yeah, I think psychiatry as a profession is, quite demanding, and it has a specific, sort of responsibility that we as doctors need to take. So, of course, when I decided to become a doctor, it was early in my teens, and I had no idea which field in medicine I want to go to. But I like taking care of people and just listening to their stories. And that started from early on. And my high school favorite subject was biology, so things kind of came together. We went straight to medical school in India from high school, and then it was a kind of a soul searching period after medical school, when you kind of think about options, and that landed me into research in the US, and then on to residency in psychiatry. But I think the number one reason that makes me do this day after day is that I really want to make a change in someone's life. And secondly, it's never boring, because each and every person is unique. Their stories are unique, and it's always enthralling to me.
So, when we are in our childhood years, it's typically we have somebody that we look up to, or our parents, So in your case, your childhood exposure, is that something that led you into medicine, that field itself?
Yeah, for sure. My dad was a doctor. And okay. I was always, kind of looking up to him and listening to stories of medical school, which seemed fun. I didn't hear the rigors of medical school from him. It seemed like a fun place to be. And, his friends were all super smart and super cool. So I really liked that growing up. And my mom was a professor, so she was always very academic oriented. My grandmother actually brought me up, and she was, very modern, way ahead of her times. So, I think this was my immediate family growing up. And yeah, so that was a big factor in shaping my dreams.
So did you ever feel that pressure of, kind of an expectation that is built around you by people, or maybe by your parents, that, your dad is a doctor, your mom is a professor, so, you got to become a doctor or a professor. So was any kind of that kind of a pressure that you had to deal with while
Absolutely,
growing up?
Absolutely. I had to deal with that. That was, I guess, the negative part. But, today I want to thank them for pushing me. I was an only child, and all the expectations were kind of centered around me in terms of making it kind of to a place in life where they would be proud of me. So it was more kind of an emotional pressure than any sort of fear of failure. And I think that's what makes a big difference. Like, if you're driven by fear, you tend to break down easily. But if you're driven by a passion for excellence, then you're always kind of pepped up to reach that spot. I was in a very competitive school growing up, so that was another big factor. We used to inspire each other, we used to compete with each other, and till date I'm close friends with my school pals. So I think school and family both were very important. But you're right about the pressure part. It's always good to have an open, a chat with family members about, especially in today's world, like they are more exposed to many sort of professions, many career choices. So it's always great to have an open channel where you can talk back and forth instead of just parents pushing their kids.
So did you have that kind of a clear communication with your parents as well, that did you ever feel that maybe I don't want to do this, or it's okay for me to move on, this is how I feel? Was that kind of a strong bond and clear communication, was that there?
So the teenage years, it was rough because, I was still not understanding their perspective. I learned dancing and painting, and I really enjoyed doing those activities too. So many hours were spent, I guess. My parents and my family counseled me, like, you can always do dancing and painting. It's going to be your hobbies, and I still do them. But medicine is something that, that will shape your life, that will make you the person you want to become if you want to do that. So there was always a choice, but it was kind of a guided choice.
See, that's a good thing, instead of just giving a choice is something that makes the other person feel comfortable as well. And, it just makes you do it, makes you try it. Okay, you know what? I'm not being pushed. It's a choice. I have a choice. So why not try it? And then, you can actually enjoy it.
Yeah. Choices empower you, so it's even from a very early childhood, I think I was given that kind of an options, choices, like that really helped me, be independent thinking, and kind of, I knew what I wanted and I could communicate that to other people in a, in a good way.
Lovely. Reshmi, I'm just picking up from what you said, that, you like talking to people and you'd never get bored because you're talking to different people who are sharing their different stories.
Right.
But being into this profession, you're exposed to a lot of kind of discouraged feelings that people go through, and it's kind of difficult. So how do you listen to it so much, like literally every day, different people, they are kind of unloading that stress that goes in their minds. So how do you channelize your thoughts and keep yourself, aligned with what you want to do and help them actually?
Yeah, that was a learning curve. So during residency, when you were actually exposed to patients talking to us, telling us about their most intimate and difficult thoughts, that's the time when in the first and second year of residency, it's very tough because you are getting that secondhand trauma yourself. There was a period when I kind of shut down. I was just absorbing all of that, and I was learning science at the same time, and I was absorbing all this emotion at the same time. So those 2 years were really tough. A lot of my friends said that, oh, you're abandoning us, you're not talking to us. But I was really kind of in a separate journey myself, and I realized that I was not there probably for my friends for those couple of years. But once I had the knowledge and the skills to kind of grasp what people were telling me and to process those emotions, it was then that I was, finally able to help them, right? Because you can't really help someone unless you feel their feelings, which is called empathy, and then you process those feelings. And thankfully, since I was in a psychiatry program, we really learned a lot about kind of how to process those emotions, how to kind of interact with people so that they don't feel, that you are not listening to them. They feel listened to, heard. They feel heard is what I want to say.
So did you go through some sort of a meditation routine as well? So you kept a clean slate every time you went in front of the patients?
Yeah.
Did you do that?
So meditation, it's a word that could mean a lot of different things, but in my case, so my kind of my pep talk to myself, or my moment of kind of connecting with myself was when I used to walk to the subway, and it was a short walk, but the whole subway journey and then the walk to the hospital, those 45 minutes, I used to listen to some sort of motivational music, any
Mm-hmm.
like, devotional or Bollywood even, or, Bengali, like, any songs that would kind of pep me up. So I used to have a
Mm-hmm.
playlist. Some days my brain would be fried and I don't even know what to hear, but then I'll just put on that playlist, like, the motivational playlist. And then
Mm-hmm.
like those words kind of echo in my mind throughout the day.
That's good, because you know what? It just takes you in a different world itself, a
True.
different thought process. So it's a very
Yeah,
good way of kind of disconnecting, and getting back on track if you want to. Um,
absolutely.
Reshmi, there's a lot that is spoken about postpartum depression as well. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of women, new mothers, they go through that.
Yep.
Even women, at a certain age, due to the hormonal changes, they feel
Mm-hmm.
discouraged. They feel gloomy.
Mm-hmm.
What would you like to say to those women who are actually going through that kind of a phase right now?
Yeah, so I think we should definitely look at it from a point of view of being well. So wellness
Mm-hmm.
constitutes of physical and mental well-being. So if you are in a phase, no matter where you are in life, it may be in your teenage years, or you're a new mother, or you are in a new adjustment phase of your life where you're going through hormonal changes. Wherever you are, your sort of mental peace is very important. And if you feel that you are not able to enjoy anything, you have low motivation, low energy, hopelessness, helplessness, these feelings recurrent, in your life, and day after day things are not changing, then it is probably depression, and you need to see your therapist or your psychiatrist. So, a lot of people ask me that what's the difference between sadness and depression? So, sadness is momentary. It's temporary. It passes, and you're able to enjoy things again. But when you're in a depressed phase due to any reason, then day after day you are, in a very sad mood. It's difficult to get out of bed. You have low motivation, low energy. You cannot experience pleasure in anything. Even things that you
Mm-hmm.
enjoyed in the past, you can't experience pleasure. So these are kind of the red flag.
Mhm. So, what would be your advice? Because you are in this profession, Reshmi.
Uh-huh.
If somebody is going through this, what would you advise that person to how to come out of it?
Right. So first of all, if it's up to a moderate depression, the person themselves can recognize the symptoms and they can actually seek help.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in Southeast Asian countries, there's a big taboo against seeking help. We always say everything will become all right. You
Mm-hmm.
can pray, you can take a walk, you can talk to your family. But the thing is, sometimes you need a little more than that. Sometimes
Mm-hmm.
you need a professionally trained person to talk to you. Sometimes you need medications, and sometimes you need a combination of both for you to get better and get out of that dark phase. It's a very common myth that medications can have side effects, can impact the baby, can impact can
Mm-hmm.
impact your physical health. But it's very some of the medications are very widely researched, even in pregnancy, postpartum, breastfeeding, and they're very safe to use.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want to tell people, that talk to your doctor, talk about options, make an informed choice about treatment. Because
Mm-hmm.
it's not that if you go to a doctor they will push medications to you. They will give you choices, like therapy. If you want to do talk therapy, you can talk to a therapist every week, once, twice a week even. If you want medications, we can teach you about the choices that you can make a safe choice in case you're
Mm-hmm.
breastfeeding, or and then you can make an informed decision and take it from there. But if someone is severely depressed, then the responsibility goes to their immediate family member, because at that time they're unable to recognize their own depression. So
Mm-hmm.
the red flags would be that they are unable to get out of bed, they're not showering, they're not eating, or the opposite, they're eating too much, they're sleeping all the time, not taking care of themselves or their children. So those are red
Mm-hmm.
flags. If that's happening, it's not that they're lazy or anything, it's that they're going through depression. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
take them to their doctor, get them the treatment they need.
now we know, how to identify that you actually need help, and we know whom to reach to now.
Absolutely. If you're in the US, there is a new hotline called 988, which is a mental health hotline. There was, it was just released this year, actually in July, I think. So instead of a lot of people now, especially in the last couple of years with, police have been involved in 911 calls. Most people don't want police to like barge into their rooms if they're calling for help for mental health. So there's a separate number now, 988, and you can call 988 to get specific mental health help. Police will not show up. You can talk to a counselor on the phone. If needed, they'll send an ambulance if you're really, in a state of distress. But that was the major distinction between 911 and 988. Because if you call 911, police will show up. So
True.
so 988 is a very helpful number for new mothers, for anyone who's going, through mental health issues.
That's really good to know. That's really good to know. What would be your message for all our mothers?
What I realized through my own, pregnancy, which was complicated, postpartum was complicated. What I realized through my journey is that, I would say normalcy is a myth. Don't expect everything to go, as they say, like, all hunky-dory, right? There will be challenges. You are strong enough to take on those challenges. Nowadays, there are multiple treatment options. Nowadays, there are multiple choices that you can make, and then empower yourself. Learn by reading blogs or learn by reading material from your doctor. Get the information, make your choices, and your responsibility is to take care of yourself. And if you're caregiving for your infant, that's your responsibility. So if you want to be well, again, we come back to the wellness point. If you want to be well, please include your mental health. Don't take any, don't take on any challenges because of anyone else's expectations. Everybody will say you can, it will be better if you do this, it will be better if you do that. But think about it. Would you really want to do it? Would you really enjoy doing that? Like a lot of people now are opting not to have kids, or, it's their choice. We have to respect somebody else's choice. If you want to have another kid, go for it. If you want to have a single child, go for it. But you need to be clear. And so if somebody passes a judgment, don't take it seriously. Just one more point I want to touch upon, especially in India, there's a taboo that there are some families with, mental illness and other families don't have. That's a complete myth. There are families who say, oh, we don't have any mental illness in our genes or whatever. That's because, it was not diagnosed. All people by nature's calculation, it's a spectrum. It's not like somebody will have, it's never possible that no family will ever have any psychiatric illness at all. Like somebody could have depression from autistic disorder, personality disorder, even severe mental illnesses like schizophrenia. All families will have, like, for example, high blood pressure, diabetes. Anyone can have it. It's not like, somebody can have it and somebody can't. That was a complete myth from the dark ages, I guess, because people didn't get diagnosed. People used to keep these people locked up, right, at their homes. So if somebody is telling you that, oh, no, it's not in your genes, this is not depression, take that advice, don't take that advice seriously, because all our genes are mixed up. It's a genetic pool, it's nobody is immune from anything. So if there is a tradition, or if there is a sort of a family saying that, oh, our family doesn't have this, that's probably not true.
No, you touched upon a very good point, because like you said, a lot of people do think that you get this from your in your heredity, and it might, but it's basically prevalent all across the board.
Exactly.
I mean, it's something that and in older days, they didn't give that much of an importance of, it's the awareness wasn't there.
Correct.
Like how it is right now and nowadays. So that's a good point too.
So heredity plays a part, and environment. You could have trauma, abuse. You could develop it at any time. Mental health issues can come at any time. So, it's like I said, nobody's immune from it. You can lose a loved one. You can go through any hard situation, abuse at work. Anything can happen. So just build yourself a network, of empowered people who can help you through that.
So would you say talking to somebody that you know very well helps in a big way?
It really helps in a big way, but it doesn't replace therapy, because anybody you talk to, like, they will have a bias, right? They may be biased towards you, like your own mother. Your mom will be biased towards your love, right? Towards loving you, towards protecting you. They might not tell you harshly that, okay, you need to do something, but the therapist can tell you that, because it's in her role to do that. So talk to someone close to you. They are irrepressible. They're friends, family, siblings, cousins. Speak to them. But if you want the correct professional treatment, go to a therapist.
Now, Reshmi, you have also worked with an NGO. You had mentioned that before in our conversation over the phone. So what is this NGO all about? How did you get involved in this NGO?
Yeah, it's called Sapna NYC. Sapna literally means dream in most Desi languages. So my cousin is a board member of Sapna, and that's how I got introduced to that. And they really help empower women who are of Southeast Asian origin and living in New York City, especially in the Bronx. Empowering could be by teaching them English, by taking them to different places like the local library, or to the near subway station, getting them their the footing for any financial endeavor that they want to do. For example, somebody wants to do catering, or somebody wants to work as a waitress, empowering them with the knowledge and the sort of the know-how. So that's what Sapna is all about, and I was really lucky to be a part of it.
How long when did it start? How long
It was in
has it
2014. Yeah, it was in 2014.
Okay.
I taught them for a semester, but I have been involved with them. I've been to their fundraisers a couple of times, and they are doing brilliant work. Even during the pandemic, like I follow their posts on Facebook and by email. So during the pandemic, they had a food pantry. They had women from all walks of life kind of come together and help each other out.
Thank you so much for the work that you are doing for the community. I think you're making a huge difference in people's lives. You're actually saving their lives. So thank you so much for doing that. And thank you so much for coming on the show.